really big spider.
Hey, maybe when the spider's dry...
You could bring that inside.
When one of the quieter children brought a drawing of a spider to kindergarten, she couldn't have anticipated the creativity and learning that would flow from it. At St Andrews, children inherently utilise a plethora of opportunities to express and trial ideas in a very visible way, through art languages.
Where do you see spiders at home?
You can't separate out the literacy from the art, from the maths, from the science.
The spider!
Where was the work, Kate?
Where's the bush?
And as well as that, it's just so linked to whāriki with belonging. It's just raising the child's self-esteem. You know, belonging to a group of people who are all focusing on the same thing. It's just their contribution and the communication and the exploration. It's just so totally underpinned by the curriculum, the relationships and the holistic thing. I think that's why we're so excited about the visual arts, because it supports absolutely everything. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
The culture at St Andrews promotes child-initiated experience, and teaching staff recognise and build on these opportunities to extend and explore.
When we recognise that it's happening, then we start to gather our resources, open the drawers and library and pull everything out that we've got, and then things start coming out of the woodwork, like the children bringing things in.
And often when we're gathering them, they go out onto that table that's just outside the door, so that there's a focus of them when the kids come in and out.
The children's art experience will eventually result in a print of a spider in its habitat. It will be built upon underpainted paper, of which there's always a stock.
And then can we see the different...
We've introduced underpainting, not only because it's something that masters did in the past, but because you start with a white piece of paper in front of you and it's really scary. So we start with the underpainting and somehow or other putting on a few layers of paint. I mean, it's great fun for the younger ones or any age. It takes away the scariness of approaching a white piece of paper.
Or can you do it in lines? And then can you see the different patterns on the underpainting?
The resulting paper, some painted with 2 or 3 layers, create canvases of depth, colour and texture that are perfect for the next layer, which is spider habitats.
We did some underpainting because we are going to paint some habitats. That's the places that the spiders live.
We got spider at our house. We got spider by the shower.
The large group discussion about spider habitats moves from personal observations about spiders at home and at kindergarten to the shared study of artwork depicting spiders' homes.
See the web? Very, very pale.
It's in the petals of the flower. Okay. Would you like to choose an underpainting? This one?
To the tree house.
A tree house. So today you need to paint the tree house, Charlie. And Ishan, where's your spider going to live?
On my home.
Where in your home?
And on a trampoline.
On a trampoline?
Yeah.
Can you paint the trampoline? And then once the trampoline has dry, next time you can draw the spider web on the trampoline.
Yeah.
Where would this spider live?
A window.
A window like a kindy?
The window just like that.
Okay, so you could look at that window and you could paint it. What colour do you think you'd need to start with?
Blue.
Okay, here's a blue. Is this one okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Discussions about colour, shape, texture and technique are ongoing here. Problems are encountered and solutions found, and all the time a narrative is being built about the piece of art.
I think the layering, the process, it helps the child to actually build the story around what's happening within their artwork. So they've decided where their spider's going to live. On top of that, and the whole time they're talking about it and where the spider's going to be, and they have to wait, and then they come and do the spider on top of that. So it's creating a whole story around their particular piece of art.
What kind of shapes can you see in the window?
Rectangle.
Rectangles. I can see rectangles in the window too. Oh, lovely, Emily. So you've included the rectangles there.
The blue part is the white part of the window.
She's painted the window.
Window.
Have a look at our windows. Do they look a bit like this? They have lots of white lines through the middle of them.
The artist's work is regularly shared at mat time. It's a chance for the children to appreciate and comment on each other's work. The community of artists discuss subject matter and technique, and teachers revisit the language and reinforce process.
That's where the spider home is.
That's where the spider home is?
Yeah.
And where's he going to live?
Inside a tree house.
Inside a tree house?
Yeah.
Good place.
Remotivated, the children return to their work, some adding a new layer.
So now your habitat's dry, so you can draw this web. Would you like to draw it with a black pen, a gold pen or a silver pen? Silver? Oh, I see. So you're connecting all the lines up.
All right, here we go. Around.
However you think a spider makes his web. Right, come sit at the end. You've done 3 spider webs?
Yeah.
Good work. Now, have you done the spiders? Are these the spiders in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to draw another spider? And then we could cut the spider out with a craft knife. And then do you know what we do?
What?
Yes. Can you remember what we do when we cut them out with a craft knife?
Green pen.
Would you like to do that?
Hi.
What part of the wall does the spider web connect to? Does it need to come all the way out to each edge?
There's no strict order of process here. Children's projects involve uncertainty, and multi-directions emerge from their inquiry. Jack wants to draw his spider straight onto his habitat, and perhaps add another screen-printed one later, while some children have decided to use an entirely different medium, building a spider from clay.
These are a lot of legs for him to walk on.
Beautiful.
Not even a real one.
Okay,
It didn't even move.
I think you've been paying attention, haven't you, Jack? Because this spider's got the abdomen part, and then you've drawn the thorax body part, and then the head, and the legs come off of the thorax.
Jack's anatomically correct spider has not emerged by chance. There's been ongoing observational drawing ever since the children's interest was sparked. And since his first illustration, Jack has spent a lot of time alongside teachers who have also drawn.
We read in front of children, we write in front of children, and so we really strongly believe that adults should be modelling drawing as well.
I mean, we focus on observational drawing because we find objects or books that we want to copy. And along this part that comes out by the head. With us sitting down and doing it with the children, working alongside children, voicing those ideas and thoughts out loud, a lot of the discussion about the detail comes out at those times. The hairs, you can see the hairs really clearly when they've got the magnifying glass. You're going to have hairs on your legs too?
And then it has this part which is called the thorax, and then you can see the legs are coming off of the thorax.
The routine use of correct technical skills and terms is important here in building children's graphic and communicative languages. The discussions encourage children to consider things like perspective and proportion, but always provide time for them to develop their own ideas. It's a relationship that develops out of the work itself, where knowledge and understandings are shared, and it's not built around prescribed outcomes.
Oh, a bit zigzaggy. And then around.
Here, Toya and Jacob share discoveries about drawing techniques.
I said, Jacob, my spider hasn't got a web. How can I draw the web? So he's then started to tell me how I could, you do it like this, Toya, and it has to come out of the spinnerets, and this, you go like this, and this is how you directing me on how to draw a spider web coming from the spinnerets.
Huge.
Jack now draws another spider to screen print. It will join the one he drew on the habitat, but it will be much bigger.
I think it's going to fit on this spider web.
He decides that the reason it's so big is that this spider will be in front of the other one, and when it's finished, he gives it to Lorraine to cut out. Because it's a complex drawing, she cuts it into 3 discrete parts, which Jack will print in layers.
Which way round do you want to have your spider? Do you want him to go right over the web? Do you want the little one showing? Do you want him to go this way? You choose. Okay, you want the other one showing. So we need, and you wanted to have the blue on one side and the red on the other so that it mixes in the middle?
Wow.
Ooh, look at that. And you can see the other spider that you drew before. Might be a mother and a baby. Super duper.
Put them in the right place where you know they belong. And then you bring it down towards you. That's it. And then you scoop the paint up. And then you bring it back to the top and then do it again. Perfect. Do you like it?
I love it.
See all the legs and the eyes and the mouth. Hey, the lips and everything. And then
Particularly with younger children, the various pieces that make up the eventual screen print are kept in their individual folders to show the process.
The spider monkey.
a spider monkey.
Yeah.
Really? Can you tell me more about a spider monkey, please? I don't know if I know what a spider monkey is. Well, here's the fence. Here's your web. Where would you like the spider to go? Push down really hard. That's it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I can see the fence. I can see the spider web.
I can see a big man.
And there's the spider. Did you remember to paint the fly in your painting? There's a spider on my head, and I think his name is Fred. There's a spider on my head, on my head.
The spider interest weaves its way through all areas of the curriculum, sometimes through teacher initiation, but quite often spontaneously, as children ask questions or make a suggestion.
Do spider babies come out of the mum as a whole spider, or do they come out as an egg?
I used it with my hands. Okay, what did you use?
The habit of children documenting their art experiences through writing and photographs emerged after a child brought an art book to kindy that had been edited by his auntie.
We thought, oh, let's do that too. So now we do a book with the photo, their name, their age, and whatever blurb they can give us. Sometimes it's just mine, and sometimes it's a long story about the content. Sometimes it might be about the process.
In this emergent curriculum, the children work in different rhythms. While some are engrossed in observational drawing or painting, others are trialling different screen print techniques, while some children are engaged in other activities unrelated to spiders. The artwork takes time.
Go, how about that?
The parents have also learnt over the years that the artwork that the children do is going to take time. When we first started, they used to whip home the underpainting.
The underpainter was under their arm and they were off down the ramp there and we'd run after them and go, you can't take that today, another day.
Because the children become deeply involved with their work, a single piece of art can reveal major development in the artist's skills and understanding.
Even if they'd started with their screen print like this, by the time they got to do this gold and silver pen, which is usually our finishing layer, they'd actually started to get more representational. So the stuff that went on top of the stuff that was before was different.
The culmination of an ongoing art project is usually an exhibition of the children's work. It's both a celebration of the work and a further opportunity to engage with parents about the place of visual art in the children's education.
It's stunning. It is absolutely stunning. You know, we haven't got the same children's work that's the same on this one to this one to this one to this one, because they've all got such different ideas and different stages of development. Arts are important. We're seen to be doing our job if we teach literacy and numeracy, and we still do that. But they learn so much through visual arts. We don't start doing it when they've turned 4. We've actually started doing it when they've walked in the door at 2.
They often do this, and I'm telling my tertiary students that that's really cool to hold it like this. It's really cool to hold it like this. It's really cool to hold it like this. It's really cool to hold it delicately.
The teaching staff have found professional development vital in enabling them to grow the program. They strongly believe that in order to teach art, one needs to create art.
Next time I come and do that wall again where the spiders live, I will, when it's dry, when I draw on it, I'll do one of those screens again.